Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Soul Connection webinar and welcome to today's call. Thank you for taking the time to be on this call today. And I'm going to be muting everybody just in case. If you can leave me the questions till the end. If you have any questions, write it on a piece of paper. This way I'll be as I usually download everything. I will have something material for you to read in the PowerPoint, but I keep the flow from that perspective. Now, today we're gonna have to excuse the internet. It's going up and down. Now, in case the internet went down or was cut from your side, have the question for the end if you missed something, not to interrupt and repeat it this way. We'll never finish this way. And in case the internet cut completely somehow, what I will continue the recording. I will send the recording to everybody in the mail by tomorrow morning. So just in case. So just sit down, relax, and let's start our call, and we can take it from here. So I'm gonna share a screen with you, and for the soul connection, and we're gonna take it from there. So our call today about the soul connection, and what I mean by soul connection is a relationship between each other, how we address each other as a human being, as coming from a soul perspective. Now, before we start the call, for many of you that don't know me very well, my name is Joseph P. Gabi. I grew up in a place where my family was half Catholic, half Greek Orthodox. We were living in a Jewish neighborhood, and we were in a Muslim city. So technically, I learned a lot about these three religions as we speak. So moving from that phase of knowledge of the religions, I felt at that time that I was really bored. I didn't see any meaning to my life altogether. I always wondered, what on earth am I doing here? Until the age of 8, suddenly while I was sitting at the beach most of the time, gazing to the sun eventually, while gazing into the sun, that there was some kind of spur of energy or whatever it showed up, how it happened, it opened up my clairvoyance. I start to see stuff in front of me. So basically between age of 8 to age of 15, I've seen my whole life in front of me. Even the event we have today, I've seen it at that time, but I didn't see the detail of it. I was aware of what's happening into that perspective. But I've seen everything in front of me that kept me busy in that sense. At age of 15, everything stopped. Then I lost the connection with my with the clairvoyance I do, because they introduced girls in school, so the priority changed. So because of that priority change, I stayed with that. I moved to the States. I studied electrical engineering. I did a master in computer science. 3 months into the graduation, I quit. I decided that's not for me. So I moved from New York City to Montreal, Canada. And this is when I followed my soul journey. I made a drastic change, major change. And probably some people in my family still don't believe I did that. But it happened, it moved, life goes on. So when I got into Montreal, an event happened into my life that forced me to get into my spiritual path. So I started learning meditation with one teacher who developed me to become a medium. I became a medium, but all my interest was healing. All my interest, what I see in front of me, is how to help someone to move from one perspective to another, either through physical healing or through mental, emotional healing. So I started into that journey and I kept moving into it. Then somebody introduced to me 2 books of encyclopedia, not encyclopedia, 2 books as volumes for numerology. I took those books because I don't read usually. It's not like I don't know how to read, but I don't like to read. And I put them under my pillow, and I went into a meditation to find out if I have those aspects or not I've done something with numerology. And I find out, yes, I did. And because of that knowledge of that I did meditation before, then what happened is basically I allowed myself to indulge into the numerology. So I downloaded everything I know about myself today. It's all downloaded. I didn't study numerology. I didn't study healing. I didn't study anything. It all came in to me from that perspective. So I started as a physical healer in the beginning, and it was going very good. I had a great success into that. Then I realized if I was doing the back for someone and they had back problem, then 1 month later they come with the same problem. There's the same pattern. So I asked my guys at that time what's going on, and from my guys I got they told me about start to teach me more about the soul agreements. And the soul agreements, this is when I downloaded all the soul agreements for me to learn more about myself, about how things works, how things are, why we do things from one perspective into another. And so I downloaded the soul agreement, which is the healing work I've been doing for the last 30 years. And I can say for myself, I don't have a mentor that I studied with. My mentor was the universe. So I've been following that for many years. Going from that, and life started to take shape. I was in Montreal, and then I decided to move to Vancouver. I released my first book called The Blueprint of Your Soul. Recently, I released another book. It's a journal eventually, I Choose, called I Choose, How to Reprogram, to Rewire Your Subconscious with Total Ease. And this is where I started from there. And everything else started to become kind of history, and then became, this is what I do. And recently I got involved, as you see around me, a lot of painting. I start opening the gift of people to get into the gift of painting and start painting with no school background to it also from my side. So I started doing that, the painting aspect of all together from that perspective. So all came in from me getting and downloading the stuff that I need for whatever I need. So our journey today is, let's see what is in it for you, that you all came into the call today, and let's see how can it improve into your life. If you feel stuck at one point in your life, the question is, how long am I being stuck? Is it being stuck for too long? Or is it recently been stuck? If I feel shame about something, I want to start asking myself, what am I ashamed of? Why am I have that shame? Is it something coming from my childhood that made me feel shame or not? We are going into the 5D consciousness. We are going into the 2021, which is also again about the five, because 2 + 2 + 1 = 5. So, and the 5 is about freedom. What freedom means to you? Now, we've been living, we thought of the idea we are free, but in reality, we're not free. We have the illusion of freedom, but is it really freedom? So this year is gonna be pushing a lot of people into going into against all the old habits. So some of you might quit their job. Some of you might be fired from your job. Some of you might have no idea. Some of you might get promoted. Some of you might be dislocation for another place out of nowhere. You don't know what's happening. This is the action of the 5. It's gonna put some disarray into in our life in order for us to start moving forward. Because maybe we've got stuck for too long. Maybe we felt trapped for too long, and we need to clear up the energy around us. Remember, the problem is not about I had a problem with my mom, or I had a problem with my dad, or I had a problem with anybody. I had some feeling been stuck with me from the time when I was with my mom and dad from a younger age until today, maybe my relationship with them completely changed, but the inner child in me is still having the pain, still paying the price. And that will start sometimes, that inner child will start bringing us some dis-ease into our life in order to shake us up, to wake us up. Because there's nothing can wake us up except some disease or pain in our body. So I want you to start looking into your life, not from a perspective how I'm doing right now, everything is fine, but I'm not happy, because your destiny here, your purpose here is to be happy, joyful, and fulfilled. If you don't have that, you're missing on a big game of your destiny. Why you're not happy? What area in your life you're not happy with? Doesn't have to be you're not happy in all your life, but could be one area of it. But that can completely be a bummer for some of us. It's too much to take. If I have $1 million in the bank, but at the same time, I'm not able to, when I come home by myself. I don't have no one to share my money or even my whatever gift you have. If I have the $1 million, but I'm still sick, I have to go to the hospital every month, every 2 months, I attract a lot of accidents into my life. Now I need to start questioning all of that. This year 5 is going to allow us all to start questioning everything. We were taking everything for granted before. There's no space for being granted. And that's very essential and very important. Now, how committed are you to living a peaceful, happy, joyful, and fulfilled life with total ease? And that's something we need to question ourselves for that. I'd like to explore 3 facts with you. Fact number 1 is clear out the non-serving relationships. Fact number 2, release your fear, unwanted feeling or emotions. And fact number 3, let's talk about your soul, you, and your soul agreements. So we're going to start from fact number 3. Let's talk about your soul, you, and your soul agreements. Before coming into this life, you decided to coming back into this life after you signed an agreement with your soul. So your soul decided to be born today, and you agreed for that. You agreed for everything. Some of you might say, I don't remember anything. You don't have to remember anything. But we signed an agreement with our soul to come to fulfill a life and to clear up things, and at the same time to be happy, joyful, and fulfilled. Don't forget that. You always have to, it's your birthright. Unfortunately, we've been stripped out from this being happy, joyful, and fulfilled because we keep paying attention to everybody else around us and putting ourselves on the sideline. Now, I hope you read your agreement with your soul. Probably not. Now, in that agreement, your soul, with your consent about it, that you're going to be born with that specific family, that specific culture, that specific religion. There's no right or wrong here, and there's no judgment in any of that. But we decided where we're going to shoot our movie we call life. We decided on all of these before coming into this lifetime. Remember, whatever your problem you think is today, for example, if it was money, relationship, or health, let me tell you, money, relationship, or health is not the problem. You are. It's tough to swallow that, but that's the truth of it. If we want to completely free ourselves from everything, we need to start accepting the reality we're living in. We cannot just keep going from place to place, seeking advice from one to place, but we're not going within ourselves to find the answer for ourselves, because we all have those answers sitting inside of us, and they're not outside of us. They're already inside of us. And that's very essential, very important. So one way you attract things into your life is by making excuses for not stepping up into the bigger version of yourself. Are you happy today with the version you created for yourself so far? Are you keep creating unconsciously the excuses? Oh, I don't have the money, I don't have the time, I can't meet the right person in my life, I'm always sick, or whatever excuse you create. It doesn't matter. Whatever you keep emphasizing on, you're going to attract it. That's a law of attraction. And the law of attraction doesn't recognize a negative attraction from a positive attraction. It attracts exactly what you're looking for within yourself and what you keep hoping that you want. But sometimes we word it in a negative way. We need to pay attention how we word things in our thought, in our way of thinking, and in our way of speaking. And that's very essential. Now, you all think you have a problem maybe at one point in life. Let me tell you right now, you don't have the problem. You don't have a problem. You have an illusion of a problem. But you got hold into that illusion and you think you have that problem. And this has become your excuse for not stepping into the bigger role that you need to play in life. And you kept playing small. And that's something we have to look into it. We have to look into the boundaries. How much boundaries do I have between me and other people? Am I allowing everybody to walk all over me just for me to keep doing things for them and being sacrificing out of myself to keep everybody happy or to fit in with certain group or to keep peace with everybody? When the last time you said no to people instead of keep saying yes all the time? And that's where we need to start thinking on the bigger picture, not only thinking about one small set, because you need to see the bigger picture of your life. So are you joyful, happy, fulfilled with the version yourself you created today in your life? And that's a very major, big question we need to ask ourselves. Is that the best you can come up with? I want you to think about it from those perspectives. Now, there is one thing I'm going to tell you now. It might not like everybody likes it, but life is simple. We complicate it. Think about it. Life is simple. We complicate it. Don't think if I have a disease, that means life is complicated. It's not. Because disease is only a symptom, is not the problem. You have to think about the diseases are symptoms, are not the problems. What are you holding into? What are you resisting to? And that's where I want you to go, the depths of that in your mind. It's very critical, it's very essential. So if you take from the soul agreement, your soul is made agreement between different people who will be there for you to teach you your biggest lesson of your life, to hold you when you fall. Those are different agreements, to bring you from one level to another, and to take you towards your blueprint, destiny, or soul purpose. This is where I prefer it as a soul purpose. So we will all go through the process of planning out and agreeing to soul agreements before each lifetime. So it is very essential to keep that in mind, to keep that moving it forward, and to keep the process of keep connecting. So a soul-to-soul connection is a soul agreement. A soul agreement is simply a contract that your soul makes in order to progress in its growth in this lifetime and to assist you to fulfill the agenda of your soul purpose. So that's, and there's a different type of soul agreements that we can discuss it if we have to talk about those agreements today or in another time. Your soul agreements were made before you arrived to this lifetime. So you heard about karma. Personally, I believe karma is simply the experiences and lessons that you are here to understand about yourself in order to fulfill your soul purpose. It is something to clear from a past lifetime. So we all have those as they're coming with us from those perspectives. We are all here for different experiences. So I cannot judge this person done this experience, that person done that experience. It doesn't matter. We're all coming for a different aspect of things that we'd like to solve in our life. And that's where I'd like you to keep that in mind. Now, your soul signed agreement with your chosen parents, for example, including biological parents, step parents, adoptive parents, or guardians. And you experience the culture and religion that you wanted to experience, your desired soul growth. So that's, if you start from that foundation, you start seeing things are not happening to you, they're happening in order to expand in you to start seeing the different version of yourself. And that's where I want you to keep having that in your mind. If your soul never had a purpose for being here, you wouldn't have been born here. Trust me on that, because what's the point of coming here? Just for some people, they're coming all their life. They went into a job that they hate that job, and they stay with it and they die with it. And that's not life was all about. There's bigger sense of life than what it seems as there is. So your soul also has soul agreements with every person in your life who provide you with the feeling and emotions which brings you to shine the vibrational truth you are, to explore and expand. So there is all different style of agreements. Some they're gonna uplift us, some are gonna bring us down, some gonna destroy us completely. Some is gonna walk all over us. Some is gonna just grab us and to take us to the place we should be taken to. So there is a lot of different agreements. There's different aspect of it. Where do you fit into the whole picture? I want you to remember one thing: you are a spiritual being, and you chose the body you are wearing today. The experience through that body that you have. So basically, we need to start acknowledging our body. We need to start caring more about our body, focusing more on our body, because your body is your own temple. And what we lack the most is self-love, if you think about it. And we keep finding love in other people to give us that love instead of start building it up through our self-love to ourselves. Because the law of attraction will bring us to have that into perspective. So always remember that you cannot be happy and miserable at the same time. You cannot choose to heal and choose to resist to heal at the same time. You have to choose. The choice is always yours. So according to your soul agreement, your soul and the soul of one of your parents agreed they would provide you with the feeling of anger, for example. This is when you start having the feeling of anger. It started from that point. So you both agreed on it. It is as much stuff on you, it is as much stuff on them to provide it to you. Think about it, two-way street, not one-way street. It is the same principle. Relationship is a two-way street, not one-way street. We always think it's about me, me, me. No, when you are into, you want to call relationship, you have relationship with your dad, you have relationship with your mom. This is called relationship. It's not only physical relationship. We have all type of relationships. And relationship is a two-way street. It's as much bad was on you, as much bad for them to do it also. So you have to think it from a broader way of looking at it. So you will receive the same feeling from different people, and you keep doing it until you learn it. So if you don't learn it from your parents left in you some feelings and emotions. Then you're gonna take those feelings and emotion. You're gonna start a boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, and whatever it is to attract, to give you those feelings that you haven't addressed. And we keep, remember your first boyfriend or girlfriend. Were you that reminding you of your mom or of your dad, or both even? So think about it from those perspectives. So it's not just about me aspect. Do you think you have any of your soul agreement? You read any of your soul agreement before you sign them? I doubt that, because we don't have we have the trust in our soul in one way, but at the same time we probably didn't read them at all. So do you ever feel like the worst nightmare situation that manifest in your life were meant to happen for a reason? Everything, there's no coincidence in life. Everything meant to be for whatever form or shape we have to take those agreements. Some agreements may even be a payback for something you may have done in a previous life to the same person that given you this experience today. Remember that it's up to you to experience the feeling associated with the damage you've done to someone else before. So that's something to consider. Now, there is one thing very essential, very important. I want you to consider yourself, your life, as you are a director of your own movie we call life. And that's very essential, very important. So you hired many actors and actresses to be in that movie. The main character were your mom and your dad into that chose, and you chose the scene. You decide to be born in Africa, you decide to be born in the States, you decided to be born in Australia. It doesn't matter. We make the scene where we're gonna shoot that movie. So you chose the country you are filming in, you chose all the flavor you want to add to it. You hired every single person who wants to play part of your movie. Remember, I just want to keep reminding you here, you are the director of your life. Just keep that reminded for later on. Of course, you made few wrong decisions. You've gone a bit off track from the script, and all of these different experiences have helped to shape that movie, which is your world. Now, think about it this way. If there are certain character you don't like or are no longer needed, you can simply fire them. The same goes to event in your movie. As a director, you can cut any scene you want to and the feeling or emotions attached to it. So your life is your creation. You can create event out of your own free will and manifest them in your life. So you are the director. So let's stop complaining about our life when you are the director of your life. So we need to start growing up. For some of us, that we need to start growing up in order to start appreciating the things that we have already. Because many of us, we don't even appreciate what we have. We're not grateful for things we have, and we keep sitting into a same belief system, and we know it 600 times that it doesn't work in our life, but we're still repeating it. And that's very essential, very important. So it's very important to keep ourselves off a flow. And I did say you signed all of your agreements, but I didn't say you have to suffer your whole life from them. That is your choice if you want to suffer. When you finish with any of your agreements, you can really cut it or unplug it completely from your system. That's your choice. No one else choice except you. And the last thing, it's time to make the lesson from some of those soul agreements and close them. If not, you may need to redo certain lessons when your soul returns the next time. Maybe it's time to start living today. Despite of what's going on, you still can live. It's not just everything directed at you. So I hope none of you is driving, because we're gonna do a small meditation. If you're open and ready with meditation with me is so easy. I don't have a problem if you have open eyes, if you have closed eyes, if you're walking, if you're lying down, if you're dancing even, do whatever you want. I'm very good with any of those. So I don't have a limitation, because I don't believe in limitations. You can be the way you feel good about the meditation. Now, before we go into the meditation, I want you to emphasize on one thing bothering you in your body. One item. It could be you have some pain or uncomfortable situation in the body somewhere. I want you to have If you have a dis-ease in the body somewhere, you would like to work on it. Whatever is coming into your mind, I want you to use it as your guiding light into going to that meditation. If you're ready to let it go, that's a choice also. So sit down into a comfortable position, feel relaxed. I want you to imagine a silver plate. I want you to empty all the anxiety of the day, the week, and the months from your mind. Empty it into that silver plate and watch it fly higher and higher into the vastness of the universe until you don't see it. I want you to imagine yourself walking into a garden, feeling relaxed, feeling the sunshine on your skin. If you keep walking till the end of the garden, you'll notice there's a stairs going upward. Walk up the stairs. At the end of the stair, you'll find a door with a key in it. Unlock that door with a key in it. Take the key, open the door, and walk into a private island. It is your own private island. Close the door behind you, lock it, and keep the key with you. I want you to give you a minute or so to put anything you enjoy to have in your own island. Don't be cheap on yourself here, please, because there's abundance of anything you'd like to have. Put anything you like into your own island. I want you to invoke and invite your master guide and your healing doctors to be present on your island. Even if you don't know your master guide or your healing doctors today, or you can see them or anything else, they are already on your island. Just all I want you to invite them to be there for the time being. I want you to invoke and invite the inner child that has something to do with the pain you're experiencing today or the disease that you might have in your body or the attraction of accidents or whatever it is you chose. I want you to invoke the inner child that has something to do with it today. If you can't focus on an inner child, I want you to imagine yourself, seeing yourself in a picture between age 3 to 9, or whatever age needs to show up. I want you to give a hug and a kiss to that inner child. I want you to look very deep into their own eyes. And I want you to see how they feel. Then ask them, is there any other feeling underneath it? And maintain those feelings for a little bit later on to release them. I'm going to create between all of us and the ones who will be listening to the recording later on, I'm going to create a field, and that field is about can be water into your island. It could be fog or smoke or whatever it is, or love, or whatever feeling you want to put into it. It's a field of energy, connect us all together, and it connect us to the universe in order to let go of those feelings later on and send them to the universe for clarification and closure. I want you to ask that inner child, are they willing? Do, can you get their permission to let go of those feelings from them? If they are ready for that, I want you to take those feelings, place them into the field on your island with compassion, universal love, and peace. Anything we put into the island, into the field, has to have with compassion, universal love, and peace. Now, I want you to ask you the same question. Are you willing to give up the pain, all the disease altogether, and drop it from your side, or you're still not ready to do so? If you are ready, I want you to take that, the feeling that comes out from you according to your pain or disease. I want you to take those feelings and the pain itself, place them into the field with compassion, universal love, and peace. Very good. I want you to invite into the island the person that has the most bad influence on you. Could be your dad, could be a teacher, could be your mom, could be a brother, sister, grandparents, whoever is. Only one person, I want you to invite them to the island that you had the worst nightmare experience with. I want you to look them into the eyes. Are you willing to let go of your anger, of your fear from them, of your shame from them, or whatever it is you're holding into? Are you willing to give it up? If the answer is yes, I want you to look them well into the eyes. You might find a cord connecting you with that person. With your left hand, I want you to pull out that cord from your side. With your right hand, I want you to pull out the cord from their side completely. Take it into the field with compassion, universal love, and peace, and leave it into the field for processing. I want you to look into the eyes of that person. Despite of everything, I want you to let them know, let them be aware, to thank them for the experience that they provided you, and wish them well. Now, I want you to imagine a mirror on your island. I want you to imagine a mirror on your island. I want you to look into your own eyes. I want you to repeat in your mind after me. I forgive myself completely and unconditionally from all the time I attracted people into my life that sometimes they put me down, sometimes they hurt me, sometimes they make the worst out of me to manifest in me. Despite of all of that, I still made the choice to go along with them. I used my free will. At that time, I didn't know any better. At that time, I did with all the tools that are available to me. Today, I am willing and give myself the permission to let go of those emotions, those feelings, and the people involved in it. If you of your body and place them into the field with compassion, you are to a healing doctor to remove those cords on your behalf in order to save. I want you to ask your inner child to come to the mirror. Ask them to look into their eyes. If there is some cord out of them, I want you to unplug those cords on their behalf and ask your healing doctor to unplug those cords from them on their behalf and place them into the field with compassion, universal love, and peace. I want you to stand in front of the field. I want you to concentrate your energy into sending all these emotions you place into the field, to send them all the way to the universe, to taking care of them, release them, and make the closure of them for good. If the universe are coming to see you tonight in your sleep and heal something from you that you've been suffering with it for so long, what would be your promise to them that you will do to improve your relation with yourself? Watch what you promise. It's very important. Don't promise something you cannot fulfill. What you be willing to improve into your relationship with yourself, to bring more self-love to yourself, what would you promise the universe? If somebody comes in your sleep tonight and wave a wand and they said you're completely healed from that, what is your next promise to them? I'm gonna let you go with that. I want you to thank your inner child for being there. Give them a hug and a kiss. I want you to thank your guides for being there. It's time to leave the island. Walk towards the door, unlock the door with the key you have, take the key, open the door and step out of the island, close it behind you, lock it and keep the key with you. Come down the stairs. Walk through the garden. When you're ready, just move your hand and feet, open your eyes, and take 1 or 2 deep breaths. So, I trust you had a good meditation. If not, you can repeat it into your recording later on. This is the type of meditation that I help people. This is the beginning of the meditation. I didn't do the whole meditation for the reason, if somebody is not interested in the work, I don't want to open the can of worm yet before everything out to start to show up to release, if you're not yet ready for that. So I do the meditation to get you to have the feeling for whatever you had to feel during this meditation. Let's continue moving forward. So the fact number 2, release your fear, unwanted feelings, or emotions. Now, as we know, since 2020, we had lots of fears. And many people felt the fear, and especially the ones that felt it even more, that they've been postponing everything they do it when they retire. They start, in those feelings, they start seeing they might have to die without doing whatever they put on the side to do it later. So it's not about the fear of COVID, it's more the fear of dying, because we might be missing certain things in our life. And that's, many of us might have those feelings. Some of us, we have a genuine fear from COVID. Yes, we're not saying no to that, but there's a lot of reminder unconsciously for these things that we keep postponing over and over until, we say until retirement, and then we got into retirement, then we end up dying because we're getting bored without doing anything and whatever circumstance. So you believe, do you believe you can forget your experience but not your feelings? Now, on the etheric body from the outside, this is where we store the feelings. They're not in the body. Now, if you come to somebody, trigger you with one feeling, and that feeling was sitting right above your shoulder, then you realize you immediately have sciatica or nerve pain or shoulder pain or neck pain, whatever pain is where that feeling is residing. So you go to take a massage, they fix you the stinginess in the body, but somebody else trigger you 2 days after with the same feeling, you will have the same problem again. So that feeling are sitting into the etheric field of all of us, and that's where we need to help ourselves to do whatever possible in order to allow ourselves to move forward. I did say your soul signed all of these agreements, but I did not say you have to suffer your whole life holding on to certain ones. When you have finished with any of your soul agreements, those soul agreements can be amended, released, cleared. If not cleared, you may need to redo certain lessons when your soul returns in the next lifetime. And that's very, very essential to have that awareness and understanding for that. And this is where it is recommended to have that under consideration. Now, the fact number 1 is clearing out non-serving relationships. And that's where relationships is all fall into place. Now, there's a very interesting quote from Wayne Dyer, which I really like. And I cherish the moment when I had the advantage to meet him 3-4 times, I think, yeah. And if you don't make peace with your past, it will keep showing up in your present. And if it's showing up in your present, then it's slowing out your future because you feel stuck now with it. So that is something to look into and keep in mind. How many of you keep complaining about your relationships? How many of you hear people around you complaining how they keep attracting similar relationships and circumstances into their life again and again? There's a lot of people like that. We all signed soul agreements before we decide to come here. The first part of our experience is to have certain experiences and eventually more specific experiences in order to awaken certain quality or qualities within ourselves. We need to understand specific feelings and emotions in order to activate certain frequencies that are very coded within us and our DNA. in order to start using the technology we brought with us to this planet. For some of you might not grasp this statement altogether, but I would like you to think about it. Your parents, your culture, your religion are a huge part of your soul agreement. And that's something that you really need to be paying attention to. You haven't dealt with, if you haven't dealt with your soul agreement in your past properly, you have not cut or unplugged all the soul agreement necessary. This is one reason why you are where you are today in your life. Attracting similar patterns, experiences, people, and even dis-ease into your life. It is very, very, very important. We keep attracting the similarity of things time after time because we still didn't get it. We still didn't get it. We go for the nonsense of things of life. We go for the artificial stuff of life. We go to the philosophical stuff of life to fill up our mind, but we're not doing the work on ourselves. And that's a key element. Intellectually is great, but if your body is not feeling it, it's going to create you the experience. Period. There's a brain in your heart. Your heart needs to feel it too. So if you allow your heart to feel it, then it will happen. And that is very important, very essential. By default, those experiences create so many false belief system within you about who you are, what you can and cannot do, what your good quality and weaknesses are, and the most important to me, your uniqueness and your inner diamond. And we all have those. And we don't even, for many of us, haven't even started to get there yet because we have them. That's still waiting for you to shine your light on. Some of you might say, I don't feel unique or special. Or if you don't, we won't judge you. But just simply ask yourself, why not? Now, into the 5D consciousness, and this year, for the ones who had sexual abuse in the past, mental abuse in the past, might come into an experiences that gonna push you to do something about it. For the reason, and especially if you put a big wall around your sacral chakra. Now, having sex is one thing mechanically, but feeling sex is totally different experience. And when we don't feel our sexual energy in full gear to it, then what happened to us is very simply, we start contracting ourselves inward to protect that area. But that area of your chakra is about your uniqueness, your creativity, your sensuality, your procreation, and your relationships. Many people, they're gonna be pushed a little bit than others, especially if in your numerology chart you have weakness with your 5. If you're interested into a numerology chart, just connect with me about that. We can do something about that from that angle. But it is very important that if something out of extraordinary start to happen to you this year, don't panic, please, don't panic. Ride with it, but don't panic. Ask for help if you have to, but don't panic. Because many strange things might show up in our environment, and keep that away. There are 3 ways you can approach the path to freedom. Take responsibility for your life and stop blaming everyone, everything for where you are in your life today. Give yourself the permission to heal. Clear and remove your soul agreements and the energies that are no longer serving you. Awaken your authentic you from your core self by releasing the limiting belief you have about yourself. Reset yourself back to your source. Realign yourself with your creator, your source, your soul, whatever name you would like to give it. Unfortunately, many of you have reached a ceiling in your growth. You may feel that you are just like everyone else and there is nothing authentic about you. The truth is, your feeling is true if you are feeling it that way. But this is only means that you need to dig deeper in order to clear what is no longer serving you and is sitting as a blockage in your way. What are you resisting? And that's very essential. You need to start looking into your resistance. It's very important. I can assist you in finding your path to freedom at this point in your life. I can help you to clear your and amend your soul agreements. You can connect with me anytime to find out how we can make this happen. Now, your non-serving relationship take you back to the basics, starting with your mom and dad. Now, the first thing to do is to clear your agreement with them. Whatever feelings that were brought to your attention through them must be released in order for you to feel free and stop attracting similar people in your life that remind you of the same feeling of your mom and dad. Let me be clear about this. If you're releasing the agreement from your mom and dad, it does not mean that you stop talking with them. You're only releasing the agreement that are created when you were a child. You can have the greatest uh, uh, time with your mom and dad today, but I'm not talking about today. I'm talking about the child in you that really didn't have the good time as a child with mom and dad. Now, it doesn't mean you should have in your childhood a physical or mental abuse, no. But sometimes your mom and dad created a limiting belief system in you that is sabotaging your growth today. That has to be released. That's what I'm talking about releasing. You will have a much better relationship with them today because they will never trigger you after that. They will stop the triggering. That's very essential, very important to grasp here. So, and that's what I mean, even if one of the parents passed away, it makes it much easier also to release, and it doesn't matter. And one day somebody will give you a message coming from them and will thanking you for what you did already from those agreements, because these are the problem of our human consciousness. We've been put into a matrix, believing this, believing that, following this, following that, and we're not doing nothing about our life. We feel trapped. So it is very essential to untrap yourself from the matrix, untrap yourself from those agreements, because they've been around you for so many years. So it's all you need is to clear those and amend those agreements and to avoid passing at the same pattern generation to generation. How many times, for example, mom complain about her mom all the time in front of her kids. Then one day her kids said to their mom, "Mom, you keep complaining about your mom, but you became exactly like her to us." That's a fact of life. That's not an imagination. That's a reality. And for that, the same thing. For that is the same thing. Your kids deserve to be free from this nonsense, because once you remove those agreements, it will help you to release 14 generation backward from you and 14 generation forward from you. You're freeing everybody from those nonsense. We're trapped in them. Did you know that the Akashic record now we can release that? The Akashic record that was designed in 3D, we are now entered the 5D. It doesn't work there. We're going to create a new Akashic record of the 5D. So start on the right foot in creating an Akashic record that can fit the way you want it to be. People ask me all the time, what is possible when I start really applying this information? Do you agree that when you walk on your path, it's easier to walk with a light along the path than walking in the dark? So that's the only difference into that. So I have some testimonial. I have many more online. So this is from Ravia, and say empowering self-awareness. If you want to learn how to do crazy energy work that allows you to keep on growing and ensure your sovereignty, take Soul to Soul Connection Level 2. Soul to Soul Connection Level 2 is an up-leveling from Soul to Soul Connection Level 1, where in the lifelong used method for creating emotional release are now replaced with empowering self-awareness, focused vision, and a life ability for creating true happiness and internal harmony. This is priceless. You are truly awesome, Joseph. Not many people in the world would stick their heads out, let alone dedicate their lives to uplifting the lives of others. Being who you are, so open, so neutral, so loving, is the greatest gift you can ever give. Thank you, and may you and your loved ones and your tribe prosper eternally. And this is from Johanna Hessler. Stepping into who I am meant to be. Having recently finished Soul to Soul Connection Level 2 program, I can honestly say these programs, Level 1 and Level 2, were two of the best I ever taken. Most of my adult life, I have been searching and seeking, looking for something I wasn't quite sure what, to make my life better, make me happier, content, and the elusive work-life balance. I have done many personal development programs, workshops, seminars over the years, and I can say without hesitation through these two programs, I have finally found the stability, the peace, and inner joy I have been looking for. I felt like Joseph held my hand through the first program. I took baby steps, and by the more I did the work of clearing the low vibration emotions, the better I felt and the more my life seems to come together. Last year was my first Thanksgiving Christmas ever that everyone got along. I can get with my family. They're no longer triggering me. Joseph had my back the whole time. I never felt alone, and this by its own was huge. So, and there is more online from those aspects of things. Even into the painting, we start doing release through the painting. Even if you feel like doing painting during the course of the Soul to Soul 1, you're welcome to do that because it's very liberating aspect of what I do into the painting now. I'm opening someone's gift to awaken their gift of painting, and that's the second level of all the Soul to Soul 1 and even 2 together, because that's a different style of healing that's going to be showing up into our atmosphere, into the fifth dimension. Let me explain about Soul to Soul 1, level 1. Soul to Soul 1 used to be 10 weeks before online program. Now it's 14 weeks, and for a good reason. Now, this program will help you to find your true identity and set you free. Start attracting the right people into your life, clear out the non-serving relationships. Now, the reason I added 4 weeks, because I added 4 weeks of self-love into it. Because I realized the biggest problem we lack, all of us, is self-love. We don't have enough grasp into it. So I added 4 weeks into that program for that. This is Soul to Soul 1. We start going from the feeling of shame. This is a map of consciousness of Dr. Hawkins. We will work into shame, guilt, apathy, grief, fear, desires, anger, and pride, and all these feelings from both sides. There's other side of it, and this is soul to soul level 1 to clear the lower vibration. If somebody interested in the future to take level 2, they're gonna go from the courage all the way to enlightenment. And living your life in a peaceful level here, it's a bliss to be in that level, or to be in the joy, or to be in the love vibration. And that's very critical. So the first part in here, that's under 200, according to Dr. Hawkins, are people still not living. So they can be millionaires, but still they're not happy. They're not fulfilled in life. They still have shame. They still have anger. They still have hate. They still have regrets. So whatever it is, from that perspective, you know, and the shame is on the bottom of the scale with a frequency of 200, which is the lowest of the frequencies. Guilt is 30, apathy is 50, grief 75, and fear is 100. And that's very essential for, you may be today living in a pattern with some limiting belief system. So you are here to solve those patterns for yourself and your soul, to be unstuck from lifetimes being stuck with the same feelings and emotions. Be kind to yourself. It's time to start going back, and it's time to coming home within us. We've been looking into the surface stuff of life from every angle. If I feel I'm missing something in me, I look into my home. Oh, this corner needs a vase. Maybe I should put a vase there. You put a vase, but you're still feeling empty inside. So we need to start seeing what priority you have in life. Is it you, or only the cosmetic you were putting? Or is it a mask you're putting? It doesn't mean everybody who's smiling, it means they are happy. You have to recognize that. Doesn't mean everybody who smiles all day long, who jokes or having fun, they are happy, actually. So it is something to have it under consideration. What is energetic frequency? Everything is energy that vibrates in a different frequency. That frequency can be either positive or negative. Let me give you how I turn frequency in numerology. Shame is, according to the alphabet where they're located, shame is equal to 18145. Adding those, it brings to 1910, which is equal to 1. 1 plus 9 equal 10, 1 plus 0 equal 1. Now, anybody who have 1, 9, and 0, and they are in the negative side of those numbers, they attract shame more than others. Doesn't mean other numbers I won't attract it, but those attract more than others. That's all. If you have guilt, it's 73932, it's equal to 246, which means 2, 4, and 6, their negative frequency. If they have it into the negative aspect of it, that means they're going after the negative energy of those numbers, are more affected by guilt than other people. And don't worry, we have too many feelings, and you can find something for yourself at any time. We look into the vibration and turn them into energetic frequencies. You decided to be born in a family and environment that could provide you with the feeling of shame, guilt as part of your learning. For example, you are here to acquire an understanding about it. You're not obliged to spend your whole life being in that environment. Have that in mind, please. 5D consciousness is gonna rock our world, because it's gonna push us all to do things that we never done it before. Because if you saw one of my backpack demonstration, you cannot take your backpack into the 5D consciousness. It has to be left over in order to move freely into that aspect. There's a way for you to be free and free others from the obligation of your soul agreement that was signed between the two of you. It's your right to make sure you close those agreements. in order to stop any similar attraction and to live a healthy life with purpose. Despite of all what I'm saying, some people will still choose even to stay in this 3D lifestyle by complaining, blaming others, than moving into the 5D to grow up into a better, healthy lifestyle for them. And that's nothing anybody can do for them because they make their choice, they took their free will. And that's okay as long as they don't keep complaining. But that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. There's no judgment in anything. So it doesn't matter. Don't get me wrong. I love yoga. I love massages. I love healing. I love eating well. But all of that won't stop you from living a lonely life or being sick of all the time. Whatever we do, emotions are our enemy. Whatever emotions we still attract from early childhood that we never addressed, they're still into our energetic field. So they're still with us until today. And that's very essential. Stop being hard on yourself and start being kind to yourself. Stop sacrificing yourself while pleasing everyone else and start being gentle to yourself. Stop living for other people while abandoning yourself. Start nourishing your emotional and start nourishing your emotional self. Stop being a pleasure for everyone else and start attracting more self-love. Stop neglecting yourself and start respecting yourself. And that's something you and we all need to start looking into it at one point. Sometimes your own personal energies that are no longer serving you can affect your business too, because your business has its own energy according to the name of the business and the time the business started. But you are the business. I want to remind you, it's not the business that's failing. It's you are failing because your energy are the same as your business. The business doesn't have a feeling. You have the feeling carrying for yourself and for your business at the same time. And that's very essential. Now, this is what's going to be in the program, the 14 weeks. We start our first call with self-love, and we're going to go for week 2, clearing of shame, clearing of guilt, clearing of apathy, clearing of guilt, grief. Then we're going to do a week of self-love and in regards with shame, guilt, apathy, and grief. How's is that affecting your self-love to yourself? And which way is taking toll on yourself? Now, after that, we go into the feeling of fear, desires, anger, the clearing of pride. Then we go another week of self-love. Now, we will do the soul agreement clearing completely with mom and dad and everybody else, and the ancestry and the matrix. All will be done into that week 12. And week 13 is again self-love and forgiveness and clearing. And week 14 is self-love and forgiveness clearing, but different style of the first 3 self-love. So there is enough on self-love that's going to take place in order to find your way into getting more into being into yourself more than others. This program is not for you if you are unwilling to let go of things that hurt you. We cannot do much about that. You are not coachable and don't want a guy to support you or lead you towards a better life. You make up too many excuses so you don't have to change. You somehow enjoy allowing your past to limit your life. You are addicted to being sick, complaining, and making excuses. So that program is not definitely for you to move forward with it. So this time is now to get yourself ready to take over your life and start releasing and clearing those agreements. There is no right or wrong here about what happened in the past. There is no right or wrong here for the decision you made. There's no right or wrong here for the action you followed. And there's no right or wrong here for the choices you acquired. There's no judgment about anything because it really, all of these are in the past. but it's time to disconnect from that past if you want to start living into a better life for yourself. And that's very essential. So the soul agreement, the soul connection level 1 program run for 14 weeks. I will be there for every week for any question you have, for any additional releases. As Johanna said, I will take you by the hand in the first program because you need that attention. You're going to have enough time with me from that perspective. The first step are be aware of the feeling, realize what it is and who emphasize it in your life, acknowledge where you are now in order to address it so you can be free. That's where the whole process we're gonna be following, and plus a little bit more. So there is no way of knowing what benefit you will personally experience from this program until you begin to use it for yourself. With that said, there are some of the potential benefit you could experience in the coming days, weeks, or months ahead of if you use this program as I design it. This program is going to be the first time I offer it from those added version to adapt to deeper with the 5D consciousness. During this program, you might start noticing you get less friction around things that mattered before. You are now that are now irrelevant. You also will realize you are as important as anyone else in your life. You start to recognize the way you act and react with people, and less tense, stressed, and anxious you feel. This is the backpack I had some. If you'd like to see the backpack, I'll be happy to send you the demonstration of it. Just let me know. It's like you have a heavy backpack you carry with you everywhere you go, to the beach, to work, even while taking a shower. That backpack is getting heavier and heavier as long as we keep growing older. And those emotions and feeling in it are starting to have an effect on you and your life. It's time for you to let go of that backpack so you can move freely in your life. You owe it to yourself and everyone around you. So that's where the whole, if this is resonate with you, I encourage you to experience it for yourself. If you haven't just yet, go to soulvisionawakening.com/soul. Do it now. And if you want to sign up, contact me. If you want to have your sign up to be, you want to finance it, please, I don't have the link to pay it yet. If you want to pay it one payment, you want to pay it finance, I have no problem either way, wherever you choose. And healing is not about the experience of what happened to you. It's more about the beliefs, limiting belief or emotions and feelings that were created by the experience, which have become stuck and are holding you down. Many of you might not maybe accept what I'm going to be saying, but it is true. As Bob Proctor said before, you won't know yourself, you are in prison until you recognize yourself and you are in one. How many prisons have you created for yourself? Isn't it time to free yourself from those prisons? And we will be doing that into those meditation calls that we'll be doing. It's time to release yourself from your own prison, from your own scarcity, from your own limitation, from your own mask that you've been carrying around yourself. It's time to get real with yourself. The wisdom that your soul attained and learned in the past has been formulated to guide you through your current pursuit. Soul-to-soul connection was designed to allow you with them so you can be guided to live with purpose. Soul agreement helps you to understand and bring closure to your lessons, karma, experiences. In signing your soul agreement with your soul, you enter into a commitment to go through the experiences and then free yourself from their effect. This is part of the bargain. But don't be stuck with that. You can clear any of your soul agreement and put an end to them the moment you choose you want to clear them. Then only then you will be able to boost your attraction power and start fulfilling the other part of your soul agreement that relates to your purpose. Nothing ever goes away until it reaches that you have to understand about yourself. Join me in the new soul to soul connection, and let me help you to release all these feelings that you are still holding onto. Maybe you have been hoping these feelings will one day disappear. Unfortunately, they won't unless you take responsibility and personally do something about it. Sometimes talk is cheap. It's about the action we take that makes the difference in our change of our dynamic. This online program is, again, it's a 14-week long. So it's 14 now. Can you afford not to be in it? Thank you for spending this time with me today. I hope you enjoyed listening to what I had to share with you, as I enjoyed sharing it with you. This is the link. Let me start on clearing all the non-serving relationship and free yourself from your unnecessary feelings that you have about those agreements. It's always free to repeat any of my programs for the second time. That's a commitment. I've been doing it for so many years, is to have any program somebody sign up with me, they can repeat it for a second time and for free. And that's part of my bargain with that. So, and you can also purchase any one-on-one sessions with me on a very discounted price if you are already in that program. So what does healing often fail? Why does it fail? It's simply because we stop before we should. When you are doing jogging and running a 10K, everybody will wait till the last one to show up, because we all have to cross that line. And sometimes we cut it short ourselves. Sometimes it's simply just take a few additional sessions for anything if you don't feel you close something well. But you will have enough time to do any of that as we speak. So you can connect with me if you'd like to see this program is the right fit for you. This is where you can connect with me. You can schedule an appointment, or you can text me to this number, 604-754-5022, and I can send you the link for the calendar. Or you can email me at joseph@soulvisionawakening.com. Now, everything from here, it's stop living into a box, because we're going to end up in a box. That's where our life is. We're going to end up into another box at the end of our life. So it's time for us to start living right now. And that's very essential, very important. Insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting different results. Albert Einstein. Time is now to reinvent yourself, have a newer version of yourself. Time to have a new rebirth and a new awakening. And that's very essential. Do you feel you are living in a void today? Do you feel lost, confused, and despair? And why we keep having those feelings around us? Because things are cultivated, becoming part of our own creation, and we start become normal with the circumstances we have around us. The solution is always within us, and our major problem is self-love. The majority of us has no idea about self-love. It is always your choice to move on or to stay where you are, and you can't have both at the same time. Then stop complaining about it. It's very essential, very important. Now, the 14 weeks, this program is $5,000 for 14 weeks. And you're invited to attend it for another 14 weeks, for another 14 weeks. That would become a total of 28 weeks. Plus, you have 4 coaching one-on-one with me. And this is, to be honest, I can do a lot of things in the one-on-one me. With adding to the 28 session, that's 32 sessions with me for 32 sessions. So if you divide 5,000 over 32 is equal to 156 and 25 cents a session. That's cheaper than having a Reiki session. The Reiki sessions are more expensive in Vancouver here than this price, but this one is gonna clear up everything for you. That's the only difference. So are you willing to clear up things, or you're not ready for that? And that's okay from either way you choose. But please, on the longer run, save yourself the headache and stop complaining about it, because you make a choice, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. If you're interested into the financing, you want to do it, whatever, we can arrange something. You're interested, and just connect with me. Text me to 604-754-5022. This way we can arrange a time we can speak together. And can you afford not to be in this program? That's something you have to ask yourself. Can you live another year doing the same things? How much is it costing you today in your life with your mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual stability? Probably way more than the cost of this program. Do you need to have a bottle of wine to help you to sleep? Why you're using the bottle of wine to sleep? There must be a problem then. Remember that. Think about it. So this is open. If you're ready to talk, and I will thank you again for being on this call with me today, and I appreciate it. I'm gonna send you the recording. If you know somebody that really needs this type of work, please forward them the recording if you choose to. And if you have any questions for me, I'll be happy to take it now. If you have any questions, concern, or whatever it is, or you can schedule as a time with me, we can discuss it from that point on. And thank you for taking the time to be with me on this call. And I appreciate the time you provided for yourself to be on this call. Any question? I need some water now.
It's Kay here. Just when you talk about the 5D, Joseph, the 5D consciousness, what are you referring to in that? Is it that becoming more conscious into the body, so more coming out of the physical?
You see, the 5D is the first time it's come to our consciousness for over 300,000 years. So it depends how it's going to land. Now, every 5D or 6D or 7D, there's many consciousness we have. We've been living in this 3D for the last 300,000 years. And we're all accustomed to that. Now, the body is gonna reshape itself differently into the 5D because the energy of 5D is higher. So it's gonna have an effect on all of us one way or another. In whatever way it's gonna be showing up. So that effect, we don't know how it's gonna react to all of us. It might react differently. But it doesn't mean we cannot solve it. Doesn't mean, but we cannot solve it in the same way we used to solve it in a 3D. We have to look at it from a 5D perspective. And that's where, you know, it has a major impact on us because we've been living into very low vibration. When is the last time we were living into a conscious of universal love for all of us without having any effect? A long time ago, many years ago. How it's gonna take a pull when we start elevating those energies, we're gonna start seeing the effect on all of us differently. And this is why we need some guidance into going through that aspect, because we have to maintain those energies that are shifting, because those feelings, they're gonna keep pulling us down. It's like those feelings, I'm still stuck into this 3D dimension with that matrix, but I need to free myself in order to adjust myself into the 5D. The 5D is gonna help us to adjust all of us. But you have to let go of the stuff you have residue that you're still holding into. The 5D is coming for our in a way to save us from many different things that's been going on in our lives without knowingly or unknowingly even. But we need to make a stop for it. We cannot keep it hanging. We cannot keep hanging around it. We cannot keep doing the same thing. We cannot, we need to change. We cannot be philosophically about it. We have to change into a ways that it is resonate with us. And that's very essential, because if you join the program, if you don't join the program, that's irrelevant to me personally, because we all do it at the speed we are ready to do it. But are you willing to spend another year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years doing exactly the same old stuff or not? That's a choice we all have to make, because despite if I'm staying in the 3D, but I'm living into a world of 5D, that the energy is higher, it's gonna vibrate me on the bottom and I'm not able to handle it any longer. Then I have to become into a corner in order something big to happen for me to wake up, because I've been sleeping for too long. I've been teaching this type of work for 30 years. I've been working with 5D for 30 years. But at the time, 30 years, even the spiritual community found me strange that a healing can, at that time I was doing it for 6 months. Everybody said, no, our problems is a life process. I said, no, that's a waste of time. It's not a life process. It's 6 months if you want to deal with it or you don't want to deal with it. It's a choice. It's a choice. Now, when we know that we are going in a wrong way, when we start attracting a lot of diseases into our life, because that's coming maybe from our souls telling us, hey, what you want? You wanna end this life, come back again, or what do you want to do, or you want to change? It's like an ultimatum. But why we need to go into an ultimatum if we can start doing it with ease, on our own choice? And that's where I want you to see the bigger picture. Like before, I used to have invite people to this program, but I was aware that there is a lot of resistance in people. But now the consciousness has changed. I was going into retirement myself because I want to concentrate more into the painting. And I was asked from my own guys and my own source to stick another 5 years because a lot of people need help now. And your system is well already into that space. So I've been training enough people to start doing the work also, but they won't be ready in the next few months till they finish the certification program they're taking. So it is becoming urgent now. And I don't know, I'm not sure how many coaches are ready for that even. Because mostly the coaches, they think they already know everything. They know everything, but when it comes to their own life, many of them, they don't know much because they're not happy, joyful, and fulfilled themselves. So they get themselves busy in their work. They become workaholic just to avoid not to deal with the other stuff. You probably have a coach or two next to you, you're aware of that thing, but you'd keep telling them about that. They said they keep brushing it under the carpet. But with this new consciousness as a higher energy, it cannot be hiding under the carpet because that carpet is high now. We can all see it. The energy is uplifted completely because look, we're not supposed to be living any longer in 5D in shame. Why we have shame? Why we have guilt? Why we have all of these? We need to start from courage moving upward. We cannot stay in those lower vibration. If we stuck into those lower vibration, we're making disservice to ourselves. What's the point if I have $1 million sitting in the bank? I'm not going to do anything about my life, but I keep having miserable time in my life. What's the point of this money sitting in the bank then? It's not going to do anything if I'm stuck. And many people lost their jobs I keep receiving those things from people, and they lost their jobs, they lost many different things, and that's because of the 5D is gonna be circulating everybody and start shaking everybody. We like it or not. It's not because I'm saying so, because that's the reality is gonna be into our awakening. It's a major awakening. It's not only to you or to me or to anybody, it's a worldwide awakening. We like it or we don't. It doesn't matter. It's still gonna go through. And I hope it go into the positive instead of going into the negative of it. Because that's where we will be the nightmare. But that's, we have to face it sooner or later. Any other questions, comments, or agreement, disagreement?
Sure, this is Tor.
Hi, Tor, how are you?
Thank you. Could you describe a little bit more about the clearing process? I know that we did a meditation today. I'm curious to know how doing the meditation actually affects the clearing, and a little bit more about the weekly calls, the coaching calls. How long are they? What is the general structure of those?
Okay, look, in the general calls, I know there's two types of people. People sit on the sideline, never talk, and people, they always talk. The one who always talk clear up things faster because they're getting more response from me. If you keep it to yourself, I won't know that you have something you didn't tell me. Now, the clearing process is very simple. I don't believe we have to work hard to clear. That's not the point I believe in. The meditation are usually half an hour. Now, in the beginning of the call, everybody sharing, because you're gonna have the meditation done first at home by yourself. You have a website, everything into that website, and you're gonna receive the call on a certain day before the call on Tuesday. The call is every Tuesday at 4:00 p.m. Pacific. So what's happening with that call? Everybody will share what feeling they might get, whatever feelings they share. Now, from whatever I hear from everybody, this is when I create the new meditation. So I create the meditation, even if I have two classes, one in the morning, one in the afternoon. At one point, the morning meditation is not the same as the evening meditation, because I don't have a paper and pen and I'm looking and I'm gonna be working from those prospects. So I'm gonna create the meditation according to the people involved into the meditation, and we're gonna do the process. Now, the process is very simple. You see how we got into the island? We're gonna go to the island and coming back from the island always the same way. And this is for a simple reason, because I don't wanna freak out your subconscious every time we go into a meditation. I want your subconscious to know, oh, okay, he's going to the island, who cares? So I let him go. So this way your mind doesn't go like a yo-yo everywhere, because your subconscious is not aware where you're going. So it's a protective mean. So for 30 years, the entry to the island and the closure from the island, I've been doing for 30 years. And that's my style of entering into, and going the stairs, opening the door, take the key, and it's like I'm going into the depths of you just by walking into the island. Now, we involve your guides. You don't need to know them. You don't need to see them. That's the early program. You don't need to, if you're interested into Soul to Soul 2, this is where I introduce you to the guides and everything else, and your spiritual counsel even. So when we go to this level 1, we're gonna concentrate on the older feelings that we're still holding into. And I will say it's like you're sitting in a prison, holding into that bars, shouting your lungs off, help me, I need help. But all what you have to do is to drop your hand. Because if you look around you, the prison door is open and there's no even a guard. Yes, get out. But we always kept into doing this, holding into the bars, afraid of making any change because we don't know what we're doing. And it's basically very simple. So when we get into the meditation here, I didn't open the can of worms for everybody because some people might not sign up for it. So I don't want to give them a headache without opening that, because once we open that can of worm, everything from the past is gonna show up now. Then this is when we're gonna catch all these good-looking fishes in order to release them back to the sea. So that's I'm putting it for you in a visual way. So what we do into that release, we go for the release, we go into the releasing in the chakras, all of the walls that we create around the chakras. We created so many walls in our life, knowingly or unknowingly, because to protect ourselves. Now, this year, I'm gonna start all the calls to have something in you physically or emotionally that you wanna let go of. We're gonna start the intention. We're gonna build an intention of a purpose for the meditation, for each individually, whatever you wanna choose to have for that. So when we go into the island, we're gonna bring an inner child or more than one inner child into the island. And we're gonna clear up things with the person who done the harm for that inner child. Now, we're gonna go into the process of forgiveness. We're gonna go into the process of start to release the emotions from the walls in order to make them crack in between them. We're gonna go into the, ask the feelings to take away from the body all the harm that put into the body, to release that. And many people, they said, I used to have this disease, it's completely gone from me, because they release all these feelings out. I don't need to know anything from anybody. I don't ask you what happened in your childhood, because that's irrelevant. I don't want to feed you onto the story you're going to tell me about it. That's irrelevant to me. And I shouldn't know, and that you shouldn't know about it anymore. It's time to clear it out. So then we go into the past lives involved around those feelings. We completely unplug everything from those lifetimes. Recently, I started unplugging everything from the Akashic record, because really we don't need to keep the Akashic record itself. There's so many hanging around the Akashic record, it's time to let it go. It's a 3D dimension. It doesn't fit. And when we come back and we start, how you see the effect of the releases, you see the effect through your interaction with many people. How it's going, what's happening. The person used to trigger you the most, they start becoming less triggered from them. You don't have a problem with any of them. So it is more easy things start to open. I'll give you an example. I had a client from Chicago, and what she had is, she was 49 years old, divorced for 10 years, and her kid hardly speaks with her. And she keep attracted men in her life that completely resembled her ex-husband. So she have following all this track. So what we did, she said, how can you change my life by age of 50? I said, it's not up to me, it's up to you. She said, I'll do whatever it takes. I said, if you do, let's go. She came 3 times from Chicago to Vancouver. She attended all my events. She took it 100% serious. So it's not like she's fed up. When you are into a situation, you feel sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's how she was. Now, when we start looking from numerology aspect into her relationship, I noticed that all the people that she's attracting are exactly her ex-husband, which was true in that aspect. Then I asked her, give me your mom and dad numbers. We find out her ex-husband is exactly her dad. All the people that she's been attracting are exactly her dad. So the problem comes from that. We start clearing dad. Dad cleared up. Her ex-husband cleared up. Instantly, she started having new relationships. Different type of vibration she started attracting. That said, okay, good. Now we start working on her kids. Her kids hardly spoke with her because her ex-husband put in their head that's the fault of their mom. They got divorced. In the contrary, it was his fault, but he managed to convince them. So when we start working on the kids, we disconnect her connection with the kids completely. Today, her kids lives with her. Completely reverse the cycle. I have another client. Her dad is in a home in Florida, and she hardly spoke with him for years. And she came to Vancouver into one of my relationship, my event, Unravel Your Past, Present, and Future Relationship. And in her mind, she wants to see if she divorced her husband. I didn't know that. And when she arrived here, I put everybody on stage one by one. And I asked, who you want to check on onto the numbers? She said, my husband. I said, okay. I looked into her husband. I saw the numbers are okay. It's not like, I don't see any miss. I said, can you give me your dad and mom? She gave me her dad. It's exactly her dad, her husband. So anytime with her husband, she reminds her of her dad without her being putting 1 + 1 = 2. So what happened from that perspective? We cleared up her dad completely. And she came to Vancouver in 2013. Till now, she's still with her husband, completely happy with him. One day, the universe, after she cleared up with her dad completely, the universe made her go to an event that is close enough to her dad home in Florida. So she said, okay, I'm here now. It doesn't happen often. Let me go say hi to dad. When she came out from that meeting with her dad, she sent me an email. She said, this is the first time in my life I had a soulful talk with my dad. I never felt it before. And when she got back to Denver, she sent her kids, both of them, to go and meet him and see him, but I haven't seen him for a long time because of that change. And all the change with her husband completely all released out and everything back to normal. So everything can change if we make the decision that we want to change. I don't talk philosophy into the course, we're going to clear out things. We're not playing around. We read so many books, thousands of books, thousands of methods, but we still feel stuck. We're gonna completely unplug ourselves from what we call matrix, what we call ancestry, what we call anything. Because who said today you're not your grandfather coming in you? Because I can tell if you have his name or date of birth, either one of them, I can see exactly you have the same vibration as him. That's mean you're coming from the same place. That's why ancestry is enough to close for us, because we don't want to keep attracting the same load, keep coming back and forth, come back and forth. Now, the more you put into it, the more you clear it faster. The more you talk during the class, because I can sense your vibration, I can add things into the meditation that's going to affect you more because if I hear where you're feeling stuck in somewhere or you're feeling having, if you don't speak, you're going to speak the next time around when you repeat it, because you'll notice everybody else, when they come the next time, they're going to say what's changed in their life. Because that's why I do the second time, because I notice people release the second time more than the first time. This is why I put all my courses, you can repeat them twice. The first time and the second time. Because I was aware, and you know why, how I notice it, that they release in the next time more than the first time? Because in the first course, the last 2 weeks used to be about self-love. When they understand what self-love is, they don't want to keep doing the harm to themselves. Trust me on that. The second time they will release everything, because now they want to care about themselves more than they used to be before. And that's the advantage. You know, look, this is personal work. It's not about the family work. It's personal work. I need to, if I always have a problem with my brother, with my grandfather or my mother or my sister or whoever it is, we need to take the friction out. That's all. Your relationship with them is going to enhance totally. But we need to take the friction that anytime I'm in their presence, I'm going to be triggered. That's what we're taking out. Does it make sense? Now, I use thousands of different formula, by the way. I'm not going to explain each one of them, because sometimes I use them in this one, sometimes I use them in that one. But I use in every call, what you call it, the emergence process. The emergence process is developed by Dr. Roland Phillips in Phoenix, Arizona. And it is about completely elevate everything from the body and the whole thing for residue from every meditation we do. Now, the doctor, he asked me to come and take his system. When I was at his home, because I stayed at his home, he said, I'd like to use your psychosomatic numerology. I'm the only one in the world who does psychosomatic numerology. I combined my psychosomatic therapy with numerology and develop it into the chakras. And he started using it into his system. So everything I do from numerology, from emotions, from feelings, from everything, now is used also in his system. So every time he develops something, we add new stuff together. So, and that's, I add it at the end of the call, I do that, and I use, I don't have them here with me, forks for the sounding, and we release it from those angles. But I have so many different tools I use. I use different tools online, and if you are in Vancouver, you come to my table. I have hundreds of tools I use inside. You know, most of them downloaded, but I have so many different things for every situation that is possible that we need to look into it. So, but I can use a lot of tools also online, like in a call like this, because I can tap into someone's energy. Because I used to do physical healing, and I used to do physical healing for somebody 3 continents from me. So I don't have a problem with that either. So.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Any other questions, comment? Thank you for sticking till 5:30 here. That's mean 8:30 in the East Coast. So yes.
The whole course is going to be on Zoom.
All on Zoom, yes.
All on Zoom. If I don't want to come to the course and do the sessions, like how many sessions do I need to get to do the clearing?
You need the 14th session.
Oh, I need the whole 14th session.
Yeah, because I don't cut the agreement first. I have to cut the feelings first. The feelings are more dangerous to us than the agreement by themselves.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is what we're stuck with, the feelings. We need to get those feelings out and be more at ease with those feelings.
And then you said, how much is it for the first course, the first 14?
It's 5,000, and if you join for the second time, it's part of the 5,000 too. So I prefer you to come for the both of them, because the second time you're gonna release even more than you released the first time.
No, I didn't get it. Is it going to be all together 10,000 or 5,000?
No, 5,000, only 5,000.
For both of them?
For both of them, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the second, all my courses, if you take any course with me, even if you took Soul to Soul 2, you have it for 2 times. Mm-hmm. So this is where everything it is from that perspective. So I followed that procedure for a while. It's been 6-7 years with me. I said, look, most time you take a course with anybody, but then you see sometimes there's something you missed, and that's normal. You had something you missed somewhere along the way, but I wish I did ask those questions. You have an opportunity to take it for the second time. You know what I mean? Without having an obligation, I need to pay extra for it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I consider you as a repeat. So when you're gonna take that course, you're gonna have somebody as a repeat from the previous one. So you'll see their talk is different than the new one's gonna be into the course. And this way, the new one will start seeing if that's already changed in that person, then I don't question it that it's gonna change in me, because it will change. Because it's all energy. Remember, everything is energy. Everything is energy. In Vancouver here, I work a lot from the same culture you're coming from, because we have a lot in Vancouver, and that's where that aspect. It doesn't matter what culture we're coming. It doesn't matter what religion we're coming. I traveled 42 countries. I studied a lot of culture. I studied a lot of religions, so I'm familiar with a lot of it. And that's where the beauty of that. So it is something to, if you feel attracted to it, look, what's the point of saving 5,000 in the bank and then you start having other problems coming left and right because, is it worth it? It's time to shed everything from our body that is non, even our clothes, and go buy new ones. Start fresh.
Yes.
Because if this shirt I'm wearing remind me for my ex-husband or my ex-wife or my mom or dad, and I hate, but I still wear it, you're still keeping that energy around you.
Yes.
If you have a vase you've been gifted from your ex-husband or boyfriend or whoever is, and you don't like that person anymore, but you're stuck with that vase in front of your eyes every day, give it away. Take it out. Why you're keeping it? It's energy around you. It's keeping you. If he felt sick at one point, you're feeling that sickness with him because his energy is still embodied with you, entangled with you.
Mm-hmm.
We need to free our energy to start finalizing who we really are ourselves. And you can do that. And we all have the capability to do that, but we need to be present in it. The more we are present in that moment and stop being afraid or shy to say what I have to say, why you care? And in the program, the beauty of it, because they're all on the same boat, so they don't care about anything. And you're gonna hear when somebody talking about for example, their shame for something happened in their life, and there's two people that they're always silent, and that those same two people, while they're listening to the other one saying about their shame, oh my God, it's the same thing that happened to me. I never paid attention to it from that angle. So a lot of people, they're helping each other from different angles, because shame to you, if you're speaking Arabic or you're speaking Japanese or you're speaking African, it doesn't matter, seriously. It's still called shame. Abandonment is abandonment, doesn't care about the language or the place of birth or anything else. Still abandonment. It's the same way it happens to all of us. Why? Because we all have one common denominator. We're all human. We are coming from a from a spiritual side, embodied into a body, which chose that body to be Chinese or to be Japanese or to be whatever it is, to be in that body, because I need those experiences from those angles. That's all it is. But it's not a life sentence. Doesn't mean you have to keep living that all your life.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Because if we ask ourselves, when the last time I was really, 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 really happy? And we start thinking, we keep driving away from happiness. And for what reason? There's no reason to drift from that. We have to keep centering, because one thing we need to keep bringing to ourselves, I need really to start living. Many of us, we keep going for business and distract ourselves in the business, not to address something in our life. And that's a common thread. Business people are the most, they need help, but they're making themselves too busy that they cannot do nothing. All they attend is, yes.
I have one more question.
Go ahead.
If somebody is living with a narcissistic husband and has been living for a long, long time, and she knows it, but she's in a situation that she needs to, they live together. Have you ever experienced anybody who lives to the end of their life with a narcissist husband or wife or whatever?
Yes, if you have narcissist, I had one or two calls I have recently about that. Now, narcissist, if you have a narcissistic husband, I want you to ask you, who was in your childhood narcissistic?
I just found out that it was my mom.
And that's where the problem is. It's not in the one we have today, it's in the previous one.
I just found out, yeah. And my dad was very angry and violent and stuff, but at the same time had a very good heart. But then I found out, oh my God, all this time it was my mom that it really hurt me.
And that's where you're going to discover all of that in this type of work. Now, if also there's one advantage of this program, if you bring your partner into working with that, the partner is 50% off. So anybody who's bringing partners, they want to have, your partner could be your husband, could be even your daughter or son even, doesn't matter. Somebody from the same family. You know, if you bring in the second person, is 50% off. But everything, for me, everything, I don't look to the problem you tell me today. To me, that is a symptom.
Mhm.
I have to go back. Who brought you that feeling in the beginning? That's good that you discovered now as your mom, but now you need to release that energy.
Through this series from Pi Venus, that who arranged these things about narcissistic behaviors, and you were one of the people in the group that attract my attention. And
Okay. A pie. Okay.
Yeah, through Pi.
Okay. Yeah. I told you, I just did two podcasts about that recently. So yeah, now I remember that.
Yeah. So that's how I find out about you, because you were one of the speakers, and you had everybody had some thing to talk about. So I listened to a lot.
I think I mentioned to her about the childhood, because we have to look into the first problem. We look if I have a burned skin here and it's, I keep looking into fixing that skin instead of looking what makes that skin go that way. I need to feel how it makes me feel. I start with the feeling, how it makes you feel right now. It makes me feel that, okay, bring it back. Who made you feel that way before when you were very young? Oh, it's my grandma. Good. Now we know where to start. And we start clearing it from there in order to heal that scarf here, sitting here. And it will heal once we remove the energy of it.
Is narcissism genetic?
No, you can adopt it.
Yeah, but I've heard that it comes a little bit as a...
And this is why the reason we're gonna cut the ancestry. We're gonna stop it.
Oh, okay.
We have to stop it. We cannot keep it running in the family and keep running it. We're not serving it for your next generation, It's not helping. So we have to go back.
Even though for over 20 years, I've been working on myself through different ways, but now this one came up. There was a lot of stuff, but now this one came up.
Yes, but remember, when you take the weed, if you cut the weed from next to your flowers, if you don't take them from the root, they're gonna keep coming up. So with all what you've been working on the surface. Maybe you never went deep into taking up.
No.
You know what I mean? And that's it. And there's nothing wrong with that. We have to go experiment things on our own in the beginning. Some it works, some it works partial, some it works less. Most of my clients, they call me, you're the end of the last frontier for us, as the last person that is going to take care of taking everything out.
Mm-hmm.
We're not keeping anything anymore. It's time for it to all go in order for you to create your new frontier.
This is so funny, because when 20 years ago, I started it to change the belief system and stuff. I had so many lists of things that working on it. My husband was the hardest one. I put at the bottom of the list. Now is the time.
Well, you made the arrangement.
I don't know. It's just the synchronicity and the thing that just came up. I believe in the whole thing that you are talking about, and I'm familiar with the work of universe and cosmos, Akashic. No, I don't know it exactly, but I know what you are going through with the.
Remember, everything is energy. Everything is energy, and energy is like a switch. You turn it off, you turn the light off, then there's dark. If you turn it on, there's light. That's how energy works. Because the same stick here, this is my brush now. Let's put my brush like this. That side is negative. Let's put shame. What's the positive of shame to you? Then that positive is that side of the stick.
Love.
You know what I mean? So,
Love.
so
What
what's,
is the positive of shame?
whatever it is for you, doesn't matter. It's not about, because we all relate to things differently.
Mhm.
It whatever it resembles to you, maybe joy, blissful, or
Freedom.
whatever it is for you, doesn't matter. So if we have we keep emphasizing in our life onto the shame part, why don't we turn it over and start focusing on the positive side of it? That's all it takes. That's how energy works in a split of a second. And you see the change happen instantly.
Mhm.
But if you're gonna keep holding into it, sitting in your prison about it, and you're having fear to let it go, then you're still in the prison. But how long you're gonna keep yourself in that prison that keep
Each session,
what's that?
how long is each session? 1 hour, 2 hours,
It might take 2 hours,
2
but
hours.
you can leave at any time you want because they're all recorded. You're gonna be in the portal for you. You can listen to them later on. Everything.
Yeah, but when you are, it's that you have interaction.
Yeah, because if somebody have question, I'm not gonna stop the call because of this question. So sometimes I go for 2.5 hours if there is a lot of questions, but I don't have a problem with that. So I need to finish the session itself. So I need to make closure for that session. I don't mind staying extra, but anybody, if we have something that even if they cannot attend, they can send me what they're feeling that they had. This way I can include them into the meditation, and they can listen to it when the recording the next day will be in their portal.
Okay, thank you very much. I have to
problem.
leave, but
All
I'm
right.
going to get in touch.
All right then.
Thank you.
Bye. Any other questions for anybody?
Yes, Joseph, I have a quick question about 5D. What I don't understand is,
Me too.
are we in it, or is it
Yeah,
coming to
we
us?
already entered in December 21st, 2020.
But it's kind of like we're all in it already. It's not like each person
No,
gets
no, we're all in it,
their
but
own 5D.
we're all in it, but we all vibrate in it differently yet. As in the beginning, to where you are in your life, you're gonna act to it. The way I see the 5D, you're gonna have 5 levels of play. People will be placed into those 5 levels according to where they are in their life, and they need to have the cleansing and to stay in that level before entering fully into the 5D. The 5D will be activated strongly on your birthday. So you might go into the testing in the beginning, pulling you a little bit into some corners here and there until they can do the stuff to get you ready in order when your birthday comes, you're gonna get more a push into really making the change for you to maybe wake up from things or growing up to things in order
Change
to.
isn't necessarily positive.
The changes are positive, is to make it positive for you, but you might have to go. It's like they said, you have to go to hell in order to appreciate heaven.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but sometimes if we start doing the work on ourselves without having to wait for the push, then it starts going easier.
Mhm.
You know,
Okay.
and that's something we can take it into consideration.
Thank you.
All right. We're gonna be talking a lot about 5D during the course. Definitely, we're gonna involve it more into, and and as I said, the more everybody talks, I keep downloading me. So it's gonna get you the fresh information whatever the moment they showed up. So that's how I work usually. I don't have anything in memory bank that I studied with somebody and I have to follow that protocol or that protocol. I just download it. You see, I save a lot on books and trees,
Yeah.
Any other questions? Otherwise, we can close the call. And tomorrow I'll send it by email, this call. And if you're interested into appointment or anything, you would like to join us, you're welcome to join. If you're not joining us. You're welcome not to join us. And it's all good in either way. And I'm not gonna do like follow up into if you're, to push anybody's, it's either I'm getting into the call of doing it or I'm not getting the call to do it. That's all it is. But the 5D will show you if we are into the right way of doing it or not. We'll see how it goes into everybody. But hopefully it's gonna go into a smooth transition to everybody. And we have to wait and see.
I got a question, Joseph.
Yeah, go ahead, Gary.
So when you do this meditation, when you're going up the stairs and into the garden and all that, is there any significance if you just kind of like fall asleep during that?
It's okay. You can fall asleep. I don't need to talk to you, by the way. I need to talk to you. I need to talk to your subconscious.
Okay.
So if you give me, because I will ask you to to give me the permission to speak to your subconscious. That's all I need, and you can have a good night's sleep and good sleep, and I don't have a problem as long as you don't negate it at the end of the meditation. And negating it by saying, "Oh my God, I slept. I didn't get anything from the meditation." Yes, you did, but don't negate it. Said maybe my body needs a sleep, so I slept. Everything is working in divine order. That's all you have to say.
Oh, well, good. That's good to know. Thanks.
Yeah, no, it's not. I'm mostly talking to your subconscious. I'm not talking to you directly. I'm not here to satisfy your conscience. I'm here to ask your subconscious to start solving things for you, and that's all I'm doing. I have a problem with the if somebody slept, and I will tell you enjoy your sleep even, and that's all what it is. So it's not. As I said, you can walk into the meditation if you want to walk. You can dance if you want to dance. If you want to have your eyes open, have your eyes open. Doesn't matter to me. And because I'm still talking to your subconscious.
I have one final question, and I respect people's time, so feel free to be brief if you need to.
Okay.
Regarding soul agreements, I always sort of with the impression that, in other words, I've learned what I need to learn, or the person.
You've been cutting, Tor. Can you repeat the question?
I've always thought that soul agreements would be when I've learned what I've needed to learn, the soul agreement could be broken. But it sounds like that's not the case. It sounds like that soul agreements keep going on until you actively break them.
You have to physically feel that you're taking it out.
Okay, that's interesting.
And because for me, I usually ask everybody, don't worry about the lesson. Don't hang over the lesson. What your mom or dad supposed to teach you, who cares now? Now take it out first. It's like you're telling me who comes first, the chick or the eggs? Or the eggs. Really, who cares? You know what I mean? So I want you to unplug that lesson first. Then once you unplug that lesson, then on a day that you're not even paying attention, it's in your face, the whole lesson, what's it supposed to be.
Okay. So theoretically, somebody could have learned the lesson, but still have that soul agreement. That's interesting. Okay, thank you. Yeah,
because you didn't amend the agreement. So if you go into a contract with somebody and they said the contract is always open, but you need to close it.
Okay, interesting. Okay, thanks.
And to let us know that you don't want it. If you're subscribing to a magazine, but you haven't read it for a year, but you're still paying every week, every month for it the same way. But you have to tell them, I don't want it anymore.
Got it. That's a good analogy. Okay.
Makes sense? Any other questions before we close? Don't keep a question in your stomach because you won't sleep tonight. All right, then. Thank you.
I just had one more quick question. You spoke about when you heal yourself, you heal the 14 generations back and 14 generations forward. It's the first time I've heard someone say the 14 generations backwards. I've heard 7 generations, 8 generations. Is there?
You can go furthermore if you want.
Okay.
I'm giving you 14 because it's a 5. we're going into the
Oh.
5 vibration, and this is the same, but you can go for 28 if you want. But if you cut it from the 14 or from the 1 to 14 or whatever it is, you're cutting the 28 anyway. Because they're not connected to you anymore. They need to hold to somebody in order to keep moving. But it's time, like, remember when I do into the talk, I said, when we were born from our mom, we're coming down, the first thing we open our eyes, we start looking to everybody, and then we cry. Why we do that? Because we look to everybody, not you again. I'm coming back to the same people. And then you start crying. The doctor gives you different interpretation to it, but I don't care about that. But that's the interpretation energetically. We look into everybody in front of us. Oh my God, I'm having the same people. You recognize them energetically. You know, and that's where, you know, in a way that you have to release whatever has to be released in order not to keep coming and be obliged to be living into the same thing lifetime after lifetime. Because you can change your life if you decide to change. It's a choice. It's nothing to do with me. It's nothing to do with anybody. It's a choice. If you want a choice, you can have the choice and you can rebuild your life the same way. I want you to always watch your distraction. Is your business your distraction? Is your relationship your distraction? Is your finances your distraction? What is your distraction? That's what are killing us. The distraction we do. Is drinking distraction also for us? Is it any substances? Is a distraction for not to keep avoiding? Why we need those distractions in our life? We don't need anything in our life if we are free from those energies. And that's how it works. As simple as that. But it's time to start living and start moving in our life. And we're starting on a very interesting vibration on the 26th. So it is interesting to start into that vibration and take it over into that 5D and that 2021 also, because 2021 is another 5. So it's like we're having a big whammy here of stuff showing up in our face. So we need to start addressing it, even addressing it before it should take effect on us too much and put us in a different highway, you know. So it's time for it now, but some people might not ready, and that's understandable. You know, we all work in a different ways, different time zone. So sounds good. So I'll send the recording, will be with you in the email tomorrow. And if you're joining us, set up an appointment with me if you want, and we can take it. I have this week. We start next Tuesday, the 26th at 4 o'clock Pacific. And that will be our starting point. Sounds good?
Thank you.
Thank you for surviving this time with me. And until next time, and be good to yourself, be kind to yourself, and stop punishing yourself for nothing. You matter than anybody else in your life. Trust me on that. If you put yourself first, your children will be happier if they know their mom or their dad is happy in their life. Trust me, than having a miserable dad or miserable mom in front of them. They can see everything through you. And that's very important because they can see it. It's time to do something. It's time to live, and we own it to ourselves. And so have a great night tonight, and in your time wandering into the planet, figure out things, consult your soul with that, and let's take it moving forward. All right, guys. Bye.